So I guess my question today is, why are black people so hated everywhere? And I'm not just saying this to make it up or anything like that. Obviously, I'm black. This is out of the closet. And I went to a white school, so I've had friends that were racist. Hard to believe, I know, but I have. And I also, just growing up in America and not in an African country, just have dealt with racism. I got called nigger in school, and it was really hard for me growing up because I went to a white school since second grade, so as you can tell from my accent, I've been associated around white people. But that was because of the whole Brown v. Board of Education thing, that whole separation isn't equal kind of thing. Well, it's still in act today, and there are programs run by the government where they inner city kids and they bring them out to the suburbs because separation isn't equal. So I was one of those kids, and my father's a pastor, parents were very strict, and people hated me. My first day of school, I got punched in the face because I was black. I didn't even know that I was black. My white friends at school had to tell me, like, look, you're black. And I was like, what? What do you mean? What? I'm brown. So yeah, that part. And then when I got to college, I went through this phase where I wanted to explore the world. And when I started doing research on places to go, I started seeing all these things where all these black people were getting beat up everywhere. So in college, I learned that the Australian president, correct me if I'm wrong, actually has he's the legal guardian of all of the people there, the Aborigine people there, which my sister doesn't even like to use the word because she says it implies that they're Aboriginal, which is like not normal. And then you have the Italians. I remember going on one of like this Italian website, and they were like, let your Negro behind come over here wearing one of those Italia shirts and you'll get your butt kicked. And I'm like, he's not telling the truth, because I have a lot of Italian friends and they are so nice. And yeah, maybe that's Americanized Italians, because the Italians over there they're nice. They don't like black people. Then Israeli people. Of all people, not that it's funny. It's not funny. I'm not racist. I'm just saying, I thought, to be honest, I didn't get along with any Jews at school, but I just figured they're just really angry. And then I go and look on, all like on the internet and stuff, and I saw this YouTube video posted, ironically enough, by white supremacists of this black guy just walked in a restaurant, and these white Jews just beat him because he was black. And then I looked it up, and then there were articles saying, we don't hate blacks, we're just scared of them because they're coming in mass. Then you had the whole thing with South Africa, and I don't know, it's just kind of like, oh, not to mention, I'm getting divorced, but my ex-husband was Puerto Rican, and when he said he had a brother that his mom kind of adopted, and he was black, so therefore, they've always never seen color, even though he's very pale and he has like real straight hair for a Puerto Rican. And he's Spanish, and I thought we were the same. I guess I wasn't exposed. I didn't really know any Puerto Ricans. So when I started coming around his way, people were like, ugh, why you with that black girl? And all black girls are ugly, and all black girls have no hair. And I'm like, obviously I have hair, and obviously it's mine. You're not going to buy this from the store. Like, I'm obviously educated. And weirdly enough, and I'm not saying anything about Puerto Ricans, but these ones were so ghetto. I was like, where are you coming from with this? But I don't know, it was just so odd to just sit up there and have to look at these people with roaches in their apartments in these small little cramped spaces, barely don't have a pot to piss in, and they're telling me that I'm beneath them because I'm brown. And I don't know, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. People, when I read this stuff online and they're like, all black people are criminals, I've yet to commit a crime. Yeah, I dated a lot of black criminals, don't get me wrong, but I went to a white school. My friends were white. They committed crimes too. That's why it's so weird for me, because I grew up in a white school, so I lived effectively, I lived with white people. I had best friends that were white. I lived in their neighborhoods. I knew when they had the drunken parties and they were drinking when they weren't supposed to be, when they were doing drugs. The first people that I ever heard of weed from were from the people in the suburbs, because I really didn't go outside and play because my parents didn't allow me to, you know? So it was just kind of like really all black people do drugs? Because most of my white friends do drugs. Like, all black people are criminals? Because everybody's doing the same thing. I mean, I know people in America want to be like, there's no racism. And believe me, there's racism, because I grew up with a story that sounds like one of those sad kids in one of those movies where people were calling me the N-word and stuff. I'm 29. I'm not old. I'm not the next slave. And I grew up in the 1950s. I grew up in the 1990s. And I was called nigger, and people yelled, fight, 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 nigger and a white, just because I was walking down the hallway with a white kid. You know? Not to mention that kid, that guy, the 40-something-year-old black guy that got beat up and killed by a bunch of white teenagers because they wanted to just beat up the first black guy they saw. Like, let me tell you, let me just be real. I'm not trying to start an argument. I know how YouTubers are. They're just so angry. Breathe. I'm not trying to start an argument. I grew up with a white school. I'm going to keep it real. One of my best friends in school was racist. She used to be like, I hate all black people except for you. And I used to hope that I could change her mind. Until I realized that I couldn't. You know, but it was okay. I accepted people for who they were. I grew up with black people and white people, so I understood if you don't like some black people. There's some black people I don't like. I had a hard time growing up as a black girl because I didn't talk right, or I didn't dress right, or I acted white. And I'm like, you telling me I act white, but you're telling me I act ghetto, so who knows who's acting like who? I just want to know why. For the people who hate black people, and I know you're going to be like, you said you had racist friends, so you know what it's all about. But I don't know. I guess I'm just really confused. Like, when you see me walking down the street and I'm 5'0", basically, and I keep to myself, I'm obviously healthy, I'm not overweight, you know, what about me incites anger in you to say I hate black people? Or what about me makes people want to walk away from me? Or what about me makes some young man say, you know, to me, oh, I can't date you because my parents, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, we don't do that to anybody else. We don't say, you know what, he's Italian, not Italian, he's Irish. You can't date Irish because Irish drink a lot. And I don't want you to be married to a drunkard. You know, usually people be like, okay, let's see what this person's about. I heard that Irish people drink a lot, but let's see. And why is it that when black people come into the picture, their reputation precedes them? And what reputation is this? Because my father's a preacher, my mother is college educated as well as my father. My father has 11 brothers and sisters, all of whom were college educated. I don't know if I can say so much for my mom's side, but you know, most of my friends that were in the hood went to school. Same amount, pretty much, that were in the suburbs. You know, have to admit, people in the suburbs ended up doing better, but it wasn't because they were smarter. You know, why is it that people think that black people are dumb? Why is it that people don't accept that separation isn't equal? Because I can tell you, it's not. I can tell you for a fact, when I went to high school, I didn't care crap about any grades, anything. And I lived right next door to this girl who was a cheerleader, and she was like all into it, you know, but she went to an inner city school and I didn't. And her best friend was like valedictorian. It's freaking brilliant now. The kid graduated college with like 3.4s. It's freaking brilliant. Doing stuff I ain't doing because I'm just not an overachiever like that. I got 1180 on my SATs and he got like a 900 and she got like an 800. That's clearly not indicative of what they were actually doing in school. They were doing way outperforming me. And don't tell me that I'm a great tester. You know, because it was everybody on my bus that was in the inner city that went to suburbs did better on their SATs, and all the people we were living with. I just, what is this? What is it based on? Why is there so much hatred? And like, who cares? If you hate blacks, who cares? Why does it have to disturb everyday life? Sorry, I'm just black and confused.